Just a great job by, first of all, the Iowa State coaching staff for their preparation and their personnel scout. I think that's 25 points right there. The fact that they had our tendencies scouted very, very well. And, you know, I'm never the coach that goes, well, we just didn't shoot well, or, you know, no. I mean, the other team had a lot to do with it, and you got to give them all sorts of credit for that. They had a couple more days to prepare, which is the only disadvantage, I thought. They were connected, they were dialed in, they were talking through our player tendencies, and in a very mature and very, very, very meaningful, like they knew that the game depended on whether or not they were dialed in on that scout. And we start the game giving up the first 9 points, Iowa State. Two there. They got to do what they wanted. We're going to take away, I don't want to tell you what the scout was, but our personnel scout, their first 9 points were things that we had talked about in our preparation, but our players didn't connect and pursue it and feel like it was going to be the difference of the game. So that was big, and that's great preparation by Iowa State. But more so, you know, as a coach, you can feed them all the information, but getting them to do it, that's coaching. And they did a great job of getting their players to do what they needed to do to win the game, and I did not do a very good job of getting my team to do what we needed to do to win the game. So there you go. I mean, congrats to them.
Aside from the fact that you didn't have Beatrice for a lot of the game due to foul trouble, what do you think Iowa State was able to do on defense to prevent you all from scoring a bunch?
Right. Besides, you know, and the Beatrice foul trouble was a function of their personnel scout. So give credit where credit's due. I'm not going to throw up my hands and say, well, it's unfair. It was nothing. It was everything to do with them knowing her tendencies. And the foul trouble in our post overall. All right, we were throwing lineups out there. Besides that, you go too deep into our bench with our post subs with foul trouble in the first half as well. So it caused us to have to play our guards a lot more than we wanted to, and that really expended our chances to make any type of a comeback in the second half when we were trying to overachieve a little bit there, covering our holes in the first half. So when I went to try to push tempo in the second half, there was nothing in the tank.
What do you think of Bridget Carlton, how she played tonight?
Who's that?
Bridget Carlton.
Just kidding. Just kidding. She's great. You know, it's so funny because as a coach, it doesn't take you but 2 seconds of film watching to say, well, there's a really special kid. There's not one thing about her that is just amazing. It's just everything about her is great. But I think here's the game. There are 2 post subs off the bench, and I cannot pronounce her name. 15. Can someone help me there? We just call her Inez. Okay, good. And Kristen Scott, like, look at their numbers. Their numbers are better than my starting post numbers. So there's the game right there. That's a really great performance by 2 young ladies who are, you know, number 3 and number 4 coming in, and better than my number 1 and number 2s. And they did a great job. The physicality of their post players, every single one of our players. I'm not saying my post didn't play well. I'm saying that their 1, 2, 3, and 4 post players controlled that basketball game by stuffing the rim and not giving us what we wanted.
You faced Marquette already, so you have a little bit of context. What do you think of Iowa State as a whole compared to the national college basketball scene? Yeah,
you know, it's so early in the season, but I think that their balance is phenomenal. You know, I was surprised they only had 12 assists. I felt like they moved the ball very, very well. I mean, what they did to us, we were 65% of our field goals had been assisted, about 68% coming into this game, and then we only had 8 for 20. So they did a great job of splintering us. But I felt like they were moving that ball around very, very well. So I thought, you know, they weren't doing a lot off the bounce. I thought they were doing a great job of sharing the ball and moving it. So that makes them very difficult. Their size is really something. It's really something to deal with. Their size in their perimeter versus the size in our perimeter. I think we over-penetrated trying to get in the gaps, but they closed up the gaps really well, and their size and their vision makes them a pretty high-level basketball team. They'll do very well in their conference.